Royal Shakeup. The royal family has just dropped a stunning update that's capturing attention worldwide. In a completely unexpected twist, they've unveiled surprising news about Camilla, something no one saw coming. Stick with us as we explore this major royal development and what it could mean for the monarchy's future. Do you have any friends who keep up with the royal family? If yes, type 1 in the comments. If not, hit us with a 0. Enjoy the video and don't forget to subscribe to support the channel. Seated in the Poet's Corner, surrounded by memorials to literary legends, it was almost impossible to predict that this moment would mark a turning point. At Kensington Palace, the royal setting, bathed in a soft summer breeze, felt like the backdrop to just another routine charity event. Reporters and attendees expected the usual highlights: Princess Charlotte's glowing smile, Prince George's charming wave, and the stunning snapshots destined to flood tomorrow's headlines. But what unfolded before the cameras was anything but ordinary. Prince William, tall, poised, and resolute, stepped forward, not with a routine address, but with a fire of purpose in his eyes. At his side, Princess Catherine stood calm and graceful, her hand gently resting on Charlotte's back in quiet support. Prince George held his place, his gaze carrying a maturity well beyond his years. Then, in a moment that would send ripples through the nation and beyond, Prince William delivered a declaration that would redefine the future of the royal family. "We are stepping into a new chapter, one that honors the past while building the future with purpose and confidence," Prince William announced, speaking of Queen Elizabeth II, her vision, her legacy, and her hopes for the monarchy. Emotion welled up, and the tears in his eyes told their own story. But it was what he said next that truly stunned the audience. "My family will take on a greater role in shaping what lies ahead, just as Her Majesty envisioned. My daughter, Princess Charlotte, will begin her official duties as a representative of the Crown." A collective gasp swept through the crowd as journalists scrambled to raise their phones, and even palace officials appeared visibly taken aback. This wasn't just an announcement, it was a defining moment in royal history. Though far too young to be called queen, Princess Charlotte stepped forward with a calm confidence that left many in awe. Behind her, the steadfast presence of her parents spoke volumes, not only as current leaders, but as a family clearly prepared to pass the torch when the time comes. There was no word from King Charles III. No appearance by Queen Camilla. Only silence. And that silence echoed louder than any speech. In that moment, it became unmistakably clear to the world: a shift had occurred within the power dynamics of the royal family. Behind the scenes, whispers of the old guard losing its grip had circulated quietly for months, perhaps even years. Subtle shifts in royal protocol and evolving public sentiment began to paint a clearer picture. The monarchy was no longer defined solely by reverence for Queen Elizabeth II's timeless grace and mystique, but by the emergence of new voices shaping its future. Though King Charles had only recently taken the throne, the air around him seemed to grow heavy with age the moment the crown touched his head. In contrast, William and Catherine were rising swiftly, winning hearts not just through charm, but with undeniable public support. Polls consistently ranked them as the most trusted and admired members of the royal family. Their appearances didn't just attract enthusiastic crowds, they captured the world's attention. With every public appearance, William and Catherine didn't just convince the public, they proved they were ready to lead. They brought a fresh, modern energy to the monarchy and remained firmly dedicated to their royal responsibilities. They began to move away from old-fashioned traditions. Yet, behind the palace walls, something quieter was brewing. Insider whispers from royal advisors began to surface, vague enough to be denied, but detailed enough to spark curiosity. Reports have emerged that Prince William has been quietly engaging in secret talks with senior Commonwealth officials, raising eyebrows across royal circles. Unconfirmed sources also suggest that Catherine has stepped into unofficial advisory roles, positions traditionally reserved for senior royals. Even more surprising are whispers that Princess Charlotte participated in media prep meetings at an unusually young age, well before Prince George had reached the same stage. While some dismiss these claims as unfounded, palace insiders are watching closely, especially Queen Camilla, who remains determined to safeguard her standing within the royal hierarchy. Adding to the intrigue are rumors about the final letters Queen Elizabeth II allegedly wrote before her passing. These private notes, reportedly addressed to King Charles, Prince William, and Catherine, remain sealed in secrecy, yet many believe they signaled a quiet endorsement of William and Catherine's leadership. What is certain is that following the Queen's death, William and Catherine began acting with renewed decisiveness, confidence, and strategic clarity, often outshining King Charles and Camilla. One striking example came when William chose to skip an important meeting hosted by King Charles, instead visiting a children's cancer unit in Manchester. The decision sparked quiet controversy, especially since William's visit attracted far more media attention than the King's event in London, a move seen by many as a subtle act of defiance. Though not an outright rebellion, it further fueled tension around the line of succession. While Prince George remains next in line after William, Princess Charlotte's increasing public presence has begun to reshape the royal narrative. Her poise and grace at official events have earned her widespread praise, with comparisons even being drawn to her late aunt, Princess Diana. Some observers have speculated about a potential shift in the line of succession, suggesting that Charlotte may be granted more influence than initially expected. However, these remain rumors, with no official word from the palace. Amidst this growing shift in royal dynamics, it was William, not King Charles, who delivered a major public announcement, sending a clear and powerful message: the future of the monarchy has arrived. Although Charles remains the formal head of state, his visible retreat from the spotlight has not gone unnoticed. His absence from critical events has raised public concern over his health and ability to lead. In the weeks leading up to William's historic declaration, palace insiders noted that the king had become increasingly withdrawn, canceling public engagements due to reported exhaustion. Behind closed doors, a silent crisis was unfolding. The monarchy's inner workings were being quietly but strategically restructured. King Charles, once known for his meticulous attention to duty and strict scheduling, began to exhibit signs of instability as his role diminished. At first, royal aides downplayed concerns, with one senior official suggesting the king was merely taking a well-deserved break after a demanding first year. But insiders believed the issue ran deeper. Charles was not only battling health concerns but also a mounting sense of frustration and perceived inadequacy in his role as monarch. After decades of waiting for the crown, Charles increasingly found himself overshadowed by Prince William. Wherever William and Catherine went, they were met with enthusiastic crowds, admiration, and glowing headlines, an undeniable contrast to the often subdued receptions for Charles and Camilla, whose presence still stirs unease within parts of the palace. Tensions continued to escalate as Charles clashed with senior advisors over how to manage William's rising popularity. There were efforts by the king to reassert his authority, plans for a major Commonwealth tour or participation in high-profile global summits. But these initiatives faltered, derailed by political obstacles and practical challenges. Soon, quiet murmurs from palace sources hinted that Charles was contemplating abdication, not a dramatic resignation, but a gradual transfer of power to William, forming part of a larger plan to modernize the monarchy. According to those familiar with inner royal discussions, this transition may have begun in Queen Elizabeth's final months, when she allegedly urged Charles to prepare the groundwork for a smooth and dignified handover of power to William in the near future. However, Camilla strongly opposed any shift in power that didn't revolve around her and King Charles. Both had endured years of scandals and challenges before finally ascending the throne, and Camilla had waited her entire life to become queen. Now that she had the crown, she was unwilling to surrender her hard-won influence to William and Catherine. Their growing public prominence felt like a direct challenge to the established royal order, one she could not accept. Yet, despite her resistance, the changes underway could not be stopped. Charles appeared powerless against the tide of transformation sweeping through the monarchy. As he retreated from the public spotlight, a void opened, swiftly filled by William's assured confidence and decisive leadership. Once known for its unity, the royal family now displayed unmistakable divisions. High-profile events, like the Queen's concert, where William, Catherine, and their children took center stage, made it clear the balance of power had decisively shifted. In a historic moment, bathed in the soft afternoon light of Kensington Palace Gardens, the crowd anticipated a routine speech from Prince William, accompanied by the graceful presence of Catherine and their children. But what followed was unforgettable. With calm confidence, William stepped to the podium, not to deliver empty words or rehearse pleasantries, but to speak from the heart. He began by honoring his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, highlighting her enduring legacy, unwavering dedication to duty, and dignified silence. It was a powerful message that signaled not only deep respect for the past but also a clear shift of power within the royal family. Wow, what a historic moment, right? Prince William didn't just surprise the world, he inspired it. That heartfelt tribute to Queen Elizabeth II served as more than nostalgia. It was a declaration of intent. What's your take on his speech and the shifting power within the royal family? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. In a stunning moment, Prince William reshaped the vision for the monarchy's future. Speaking before a crowd of reporters, royals, and millions watching around the world, he declared, "Our voice will ignite a new beginning. Not by abandoning tradition, but by evolving it. The crown isn't a relic. It's a living promise of service, and that promise belongs to the future." This powerful statement marked a defining turning point in royal history. Immediately after, William turned to his daughter, Princess Charlotte, who had always carried herself with remarkable poise despite her young age. In a surprising and symbolic gesture, he gently guided Charlotte forward. "Princess Charlotte will take on her first official duties in the coming months," he announced. "She will begin attending engagements alongside her mother, learning the true meaning of service and ultimately helping to shape a new vision for our family and country." The audience was stunned. The public reaction was immediate and filled with astonishment, not just because of the moment's historic nature, but because of its clear strategic message. Princess Charlotte wasn't being positioned as a passive royal figure. She was being prepared to shoulder real responsibility, potentially rivaling her older brother George. Photos from the event rapidly circulated across media platforms, capturing Charlotte standing proudly behind her father. Her modest smile instantly won hearts, especially on social media. But this moment wasn't only about Charlotte. It was a reflection of William's broader vision, to elevate his daughter's role and challenge the long-standing male dominance in royal power. Where past generations might have kept a daughter like Charlotte in the background, William boldly brought her to the forefront. Beside him, Catherine stood with timeless poise, gently resting her hand on George's shoulder, a subtle yet powerful reminder that this family was united and stepping forward together. As the crowd erupted in cheers and editorials hailed the royal family's bold new direction, the public saw a monarchy reborn. But behind palace walls, calm was nowhere to be found. A quiet storm was brewing. While the world celebrated Princess Charlotte, one woman in the royal circle saw only shadows: Camilla. When the words were spoken, Camilla reportedly erupted in fury. Palace insiders revealed she saw Prince William's announcement not just as a bold move, but as a direct threat to her legacy and that of King Charles. "She's just a child. This is madness," Camilla allegedly exclaimed upon hearing of Princess Charlotte's rising role. More than a moment of shock, it was personal. For decades, Camilla had battled to reshape her public image, enduring relentless media scrutiny, deep public hostility, and the long shadow of past scandals. From being one of the most criticized women in Britain to becoming Queen Consort, her journey had been hard-earned. But now, as Charlotte's star rose with dazzling speed, Camilla felt her grip on influence begin to slip, a shift she found impossible to ignore. Though Diana was no longer present, her legacy still cast a powerful shadow, influencing public sentiment and royal direction. Camilla once believed that legacy had settled, that her place beside Charles was secure. But William and Catherine's single speech had rewritten the narrative, and in response, Camilla acted swiftly. She called an urgent meeting with senior palace advisors and, according to sources, even confronted Charles directly, demanding he make a public statement to reassert royal hierarchy. But Charles, weary and withdrawn, reportedly refused. His quiet response: "Let it unfold. It has already begun." Camilla now found herself more isolated than ever. Her relationship with Princess Anne, the monarchy's traditionalist and stern guardian, began to shift. Anne, who disliked media theatrics and distrusted power plays, viewed William's declarations as impulsive and disrespectful to their father. Yet for the first time, Camilla and Anne found common ground, not in friendship, but in shared opposition. Together, they tried to rally senior palace officials, arguing that William's bold move risked destabilizing the monarchy's carefully preserved public image. But the tide had turned. Staff once fiercely loyal to Charles and Camilla began shifting allegiance to William and Catherine. Foreign ambassadors, especially those linked to Charlotte's heritage, bypassed Clarence House and contacted Kensington Palace instead. Even the media changed tone, positioning William's family as the modern, hopeful face of the monarchy. Camilla's frustration deepened. One royal insider described her sneaking through palace corridors late at night, slamming doors and issuing ignored demands. In contrast, Catherine remained poised and measured, quietly retreating to her countryside home. But the message was clear: the public had made its choice. The new royal family was no longer just Charles and Camilla. It was William, Catherine, Charlotte, and George. While the spotlight glowed brightly on Charlotte's rising role and William's defining declaration, few noticed the quiet, strategic force behind the scenes: Catherine, the Princess of Wales. Though praised for her grace and poise, many underestimated her depth. In truth, she had spent years studying the palace's inner fractures, learning its rhythms, and preparing. Her strategy, subtle, long-sighted, and precise, was now unfolding with remarkable success. Catherine had grown far beyond her roles as wife and mother. She had become the quiet architect of the monarchy's future. While Camilla struggled to win public favor, Catherine earned it naturally, not through image manipulation, but heartfelt moments. Her genuine smiles in children's hospitals, her tender interactions with her own kids, her warmth with strangers, each moment deepened the public's affection. This authenticity became her greatest power. As William's announcement shook the palace, Catherine stood by him as his strongest ally. She remained publicly silent in the face of Camilla's backlash, offering no response even when directly confronted. But behind closed doors, she was anything but passive. Every evening, she and William met to review media coverage, public sentiment, and refine their next steps. Charles's once loyal advisors began shifting toward them, drawn by the clarity of their vision. According to rumors, Catherine had quietly commissioned public polling months in advance to gauge support for Charlotte's role, and the results were overwhelmingly positive. This wasn't about personal ambition. It was a meticulous strategy to secure the monarchy's future. Catherine understood the crown could not survive by clinging to the past. It had to evolve to remain relevant. In Princess Charlotte, she saw more than a daughter. She saw the future: Diana's compassion, Queen Elizabeth's intellect, and Catherine's own unshakable strength. Her influence wasn't inherited. It was earned, forged through grace, intellect, and resilience. Her ambition was not about glory or control, but about safeguarding the monarchy's stability, and ensuring a legacy her children would shape, not just inherit. Once mocked for her middle-class background, Catherine now stood not as a ceremonial figure, but as the true guardian of the monarchy's destiny, leading quiet, profound change within palace walls. When the dust settled, the most surprising royal revelation in recent history came to light. The future of the monarchy was no longer just speculation. Prince William, Princess Catherine, Princess Charlotte, and Prince George stepped forward proudly, offering the world a clear glimpse of what lay ahead. Charlotte, calm and poised, captured both headlines and hearts. Her natural grace and striking resemblance to Princess Diana and Queen Elizabeth were undeniable. With the announcement of her new official duties, she transitioned from a royal child into a key pillar of the crown's next chapter. While Charlotte took the spotlight, George stood silent but observant, embodying the quiet composure of a future king. Though still young, his presence during the announcement revealed the early signs of leadership. This moment wasn't just about royal protocol. It reflected a family deeply committed to guiding the monarchy with humility, purpose, and authenticity. Behind it all stood William and Catherine, the quiet architects of a new royal era. Their leadership symbolizes not just tradition and power, but a compelling message. The monarchy's strength no longer rests solely on the throne or ancient bloodlines, it thrives on public trust, emotional connection, and visible integrity. Though King Charles and Queen Camilla retain their titles, their influence has unmistakably waned. A generational shift has firmly taken hold, not just across the UK, but in the hearts of royal followers around the globe. Charlotte and George are beginning to step into their legacy, not with entitlement, but with grace and conviction. One undeniable truth has emerged: the crown not only endures, it is reborn, shaped by the new generation poised to carry it forward. And there you have it, everyone. The royal family has shaken the world once again with this explosive announcement involving Camilla. What does it mean for the future of the monarchy? Will her influence still shape royal affairs? Or are we truly entering a new era? We want to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest breaking news from the world of royalty. Stay tuned, this story is just getting started.